from the beginning. And I'm going to start it from back when I was in college, because guys, let's face it, I don't think anybody in this room ever had a plan to end up or to be in the insurance industry. You know, if you did, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to hear your story. When I was a little girl, I used to walk around. I did carry a briefcase around, and I loved to pretend businesswoman, but I never imagined that it would be in the insurance industry. So back when I graduated high school, I was lucky enough to get a 4-year scholarship to attend college at a small university called Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois. Anybody know Benedictine and Lisle? Yeah. Maybe a few. Okay, I know we're in Peoria, so I'm like, surely somebody knows where Lisle, Illinois is. But I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. I chose psychology because it came easy to me. And let's face it, I just wanted to get my bachelor's degree, okay? But in the course of me getting my degree, I realized that I did not want to be a psychologist, and I did not want to pursue an advanced degree in psychology at that time. So when I graduated, I moved to Minneapolis. Anybody from Minneapolis? Maybe. I moved to Minneapolis on the recommendation of a friend, and I had a job in the social services. Okay, so I was able to use my degree. The small room that I rented in Minneapolis was $250 a month. And my annual salary, now keep in mind this was 1998, my annual salary in my little social services job was $19,500 a year. So I brought in $1,500 a month, and I was thrilled. I was like, man, this is great. My cost of living is like $250. I'm making $1,500. I thought I was rolling in the dough, right? I was not looking for a husband when I moved up to Minneapolis, but as fate would have it, I met Mike Pappas, and like almost immediately, and I knew he was the one. All right, so we were married 9 months later in May of 1999. He was 19 years old and I was 22. We're little babies. But we both had a similar outlook on life and a vision for big things. Mike and I spent the first 5 years of our marriage working in full-time ministry together at a Christian nightclub up in Minneapolis. So I know I did hear there's a couple people from Minneapolis. If anyone's heard of Club 3 Degrees, maybe not. Maybe one person. Awesome. We worked there for 5 years. We didn't make a lot of money, guys, but we still had big dreams. And our lives really changed with the birth of our daughter in 2004. And at the time, financially, it didn't make sense for me to continue in that job because the cost of childcare was actually like more than what I was making. So I embarked on the whole stay-at-home mom thing. Even though, like, to this day, guys, I can't pull off a Pinterest birthday party to save my life. And I will have to say, like, the first probably like year as a stay-at-home mom, I really battled a lot of depression during that year, postpartum depression and depression. And so I tried to find different ways and different avenues, like outlets, to express myself, to earn some extra money. I started a Melaleuca business to supplement our income because I love their vitamins, I love their cleaning products, and I love promoting them. And I liked the business model. I gave it my all. And I honestly thought that Melaleuca was going to be my ticket to wealth, independence, and financial freedom, right? Anyone in the audience, have you ever done the whole network marketing thing? Anybody? I'm sure. Maybe so, or maybe nobody wants to admit it. But Mike and I actually tried when we first got married. Somebody from his job approached us. We're like, Tennessee. Anybody from Nashville? Maybe just mathematics. But in 2008, we literally had 2 friends in Nashville. We had literally, we knew 2 people down here. We felt like a little bit like the pioneers, like going out west, like packing up the wagon and just going out west, like on a hope and a dream, right? And so Mike left about 3 months before we did. I stayed back to sell our condo. And so Mike came down to Nashville and he was like looking for any job that he could find. He found 3 of them. One of them was washing dishes at a restaurant. One of them was doing wine tastings at a vineyard. Now, totally ironic, because at the age of 29, Mike had actually never tasted wine before. And now look at him. He also got his 3rd job was at a small record label, which was actually more of like an internship. It really didn't pay anything. So when the kids and I joined him a few months later, after we sold our condo, we came down and Mike and I started a digital photo booth company. So we started more of like a traditional business. We were both, especially me, driving all over like a 4-state region, setting up photo booths for weddings and special events. We were driving up to Kentucky, down to Alabama, Georgia, and all over Tennessee. And in 2008, between all of our little jobs and our little business, we made a grand total of $30,000 that year. So we kind of grew accustomed to living on a very small income. And the following year, in 2009, Mike landed a job, an entry-level position with a nationally syndicated radio host and financial guru named Dave Ramsey. Many of you probably know of him. Working with Dave Ramsey proved to be an amazing experience for the 5.5 years he was there. And you guys, life was good. In 3 years, we paid off our little house because we were like used to living on rice and beans. We did the whole rice and beans plan. I do not recommend the beans and rice plan. And Mike was like growing himself, working with Dave Ramsey. I was still hustling with several side jobs. I was mainly handling the photo business, our Melaleuca business. And then I started consulting with some local nonprofits to do their social media marketing and some of their fundraising activities. But the problem was I was working so much, I didn't have any time. Even though I was like a stay-at-home mom, I was like doing all these jobs from home, and I really didn't have any time, nor was I making the kind of income that I felt justified the amount of hard work and time I was putting into it. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. But I can remember like sitting on the porch one day, on our front porch with Mike one day, and us just kind of asking ourselves like, okay, like, is this it? Like, is this the path that we are destined to be on for the rest of our lives? Working for someone else, building someone else's dream, and like hustling all these opportunities that don't seem to be panning out to anything. And I knew that something had to change. So in January of 2012, our kids at the time were 5 years old and 7 years old. And I knew that I had to make a move. It was my turn. Our son was going to be in kindergarten that fall. And Mike was like nudging me. He's like, what are you going to do when that happens? And I hated that because I still didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. And thinking like, do I go back to school? Do I start a new career? Do I go and get a waitressing job down at the IHOP that just opened up down the street, right? Like I'm thinking all these thoughts. So it was like a really pivotal moment in my life. And the truth of the matter is we still had dreams of financial independence. We both wanted to own our own business. We wanted leadership. At the end of the day, we wanted what everybody who comes to Symmetry wants. We wanted time and money. Okay. And I knew that if I could just find the right opportunity, I could put my hard work into it and be successful. So in January of 2012, I quit all my side hustles. I told Mike I was taking a sabbatical. I wanted to be open and ready for when the opportunity arose. And literally, like, after about a couple of months, Mike was like, are you going to go back to work at all? And I was just like, listen, babe, I'm waiting for the opportunity to present itself. You see, here's the thing that I want you to take note. I had gotten crystal clear on what I wanted. And I want you to write that down. You have got to be crystal clear on what you want in life. When you're crystal clear on what you want in life, you just have to be patient until it finds you. And here's what I was crystal clear on. Here's what I wanted. Number one, I wanted to be my own boss. I do actually consider myself to be psychologically unemployable, okay? Like, I cannot stand the idea of someone telling me where I have to be and when I'm allowed to take off work, okay? So I wanted to be my own boss. Number two, I wanted to sell something. I wanted to sell something that I believed in. I know you can make a lot of money in sales if you're truly helping people and making a difference. Okay, so I wanted to sell something, make a difference. Number three, I wanted no ceiling on my income. Like, I didn't ever want there to be a situation where the company or the leadership would say, hey, Sarah, I'm sorry, you're making much money. We're going to reduce your commissions or take some of your business that you've worked so hard for away. That actually happened. Mike used to work at Sears back in the day, and they reduced all the commission. You don't see really commission salespeople in the department stores anymore, right? I see it happen all the time in corporate America. I see it happen in network marketing. I wanted to make as much money as I possibly could, right? And the other thing is, I also was crystal clear on what I didn't want. Okay, I didn't want to sell certain things. There were certain things that, like, didn't interest me. I didn't want to sell cars. I didn't want to sell homes. Real estate is like super expensive to get into and very competitive. I didn't want to sell pharmaceuticals because I didn't want a boss. And I did not want to start another network marketing opportunity. I did not want to have to hustle down my friends and family for clients. I didn't want to have to go to networking meetings. Okay, I had grown to absolutely hate Chamber of Commerce meetings, networking meetings, BNI, meetup groups. Okay, like, I still kind of like shiver and shudder inside when I think of that. And the other thing is, I didn't want a cold call. I didn't want a cold call for clients, and I didn't want to have to spend a lot of money on advertising. So I got crystal clear. I got crystal clear on what I wanted. I got crystal clear on what I didn't want, and I waited. And it took 3 months of waiting. But one day I ran into an acquaintance of mine, and she was a single mom that I hadn't seen in a while. And she looked really happy. So I asked her like what she was doing, and she said, Sarah, you'll never guess, but I'm selling life insurance and I love it. And I was like, okay, you're selling life insurance and you love it? She was like, yeah, I get to make my own hours. I'm earning great commissions. It was her 3rd month in the business, and she had already made $4,000. And I was like, hold up, you made $4,000 in your 3rd month? Like, that was double what I was making with all my side hustles put together. I mean, like, remember when I told you, like, I thought $1,500 a month was like doing really good? Clearly, I had like some money blueprint issues, right? So I was like, dang, $4,000. I want to make $4,000. So I stalked her on Facebook later that day, and she agreed to come by my house the next morning on her way to appointments. And when she came over, she was all dressed up. She had her little bag with her, and she slid a piece of paper across the table to me. And it was a lead, and it was the lead of the person that she was about to go and visit. And as soon as I took a look at that piece of paper, I absolutely knew that I had found the answer to what I was looking for.